We both do it at the same time.
Yeah.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Frontside Press with Mike and Jeff. Once again, we have Mike B. Backup Mike. B for backup Mike. Yes, welcome to the show. I'm here. Mr. McGowan is not here. He has a nerve of wanting to do things with his family and his children on Thursday nights when he should be on this show. Some bitch. So he's not here. He's got stuff to do. But thankfully, we always have backup Mike on standby. So, yes, welcome once again to Skinny, filling in for Big Mike tonight.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, cuz. So, Thursday night, Frontside Press, Jeff and Mike. Thanks for tuning in. We'll shoot the shit for a little bit and give everybody a chance to get in here before we shout out to some of our sponsors and stuff. So how's North Carolina life these days? Anything exciting? Or Tennessee life, sorry. It's all in the same area up there. Oh, Tennessee life these days.
It's absolutely gorgeous, man, as usual. So the weather's been great. I've been getting busy, so I gotta like that. And just gorgeous, man. Took Sarge to the post office today and took him into Lowe's, and he walked around with everybody, and everybody was saying how handsome he was, and I'm like, tell me something I don't know.
Tell me he takes after his dad?
Yeah. Or his cousin.
Yeah. That's what I always say when people talk about the chocolate lab. They always say that Michael was here today doing some Micah Dickerson was here today doing some plumbing at the house. He's like, yeah, it's a good looking chocolate lab. I said, yeah, that's what everybody says. I takes after his father.
He's a good dude, Micah Dickerson, man. That guy,
oh yeah,
he's a good plumber, and he's just an all-around good dude. Yeah.
Yep, he's an OG.
Yep.
Minnesota gun or
trader. Yep. The old
MGT. He's
been in the shop. I mean,
OG.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude for sure.
Yeah, I had to.
Well, looks like Sean Hilton's in here already, wondering if he won.
Oh, everybody lost.
And Doc Messick's in here. What's up, Doc?
So I haven't gotten a. Here, let me switch over because I haven't gotten a.
I don't know how Facebook does this. When I try to go live, it doesn't tell me who's here. All I see is when people, type something in.
Comment.
It used to show it when they entered, but I don't see that anymore. It's weird.
Well, I used to get I'm not getting notification. I used to get a notification, hey, Frontside Press is now live or whatever, but I'm looking at my notifications and I don't get notifications anymore. So I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with
thanks a lot, Zuck.
Facebook algorithms screwing around with us again.
Yeah.
Like I don't even see it up right now. Here it is. I was gonna say, I'm trying to find it. I don't even see it up. There it is. All right, I found it. Yes, Maria's on here. Sean's on here. Oh yeah, I want to know if you won already. Sean's on here. Yeah, Sean. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing an MGT lunch again because a lot of those old schoolers, we lost touch with the group because it got too big. I mean, we don't need to go through the hash, and I know you had your problems with it, Mike, and you started your own offshoot and everything, but it got so big, and then all these people joined in there, and none of them really did anything anymore, and nobody did stuff. So we keep every couple of years we keep talking about trying to get it back again, start posting some things, maybe make the group smaller or whatever, but everybody's kind of busy and things aren't going on. And what really killed that is when you used to be able to sell on Facebook, so it was really big, obviously, when it was the sales site, and then Zuckerberg came in there and said you couldn't sell anymore, and then all of a sudden people stopped kind of posting because all they really want to do is buy guns.
Right. Don't we all?
But anyway.
You should try to get them all back together again, man. Bobby Ransom still lives down there, don't he?
They're all down here, yeah. Bob's still down here. Micah, yeah, me, Jeff, Ken Nice is still down here. Like all those OG guys they're all still around. Keegan is still down here doing his stuff. So We'll put something together.
Yeah,
We were supposed
Keegan
to have
came up
a
here and visited with me.
yeah. Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was cool. We had lunch. That was cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I think he was in town. I think he was in Knoxville for a tattoo convention or something, and he got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I'm not going to be too far from you." I'm like, "Come on, man, let's do this."
yeah.
So we
We'll
went
get
out to
over here
lunch. He
then.
was
Yeah.
with his daughter and a couple of his his friends were with him. It was a good time.
Sure. Cool. All right, so let's get started here with all. Let's get all the formalities out of the way, and then we're going to get into a really interesting topic tonight that I know the interwebs are all a buzz, a Twitter, a kerfuffle. So we're going to first start out with our King sponsor, Johnny Custom Glock. As always, JohnnyGlocks.com. Because you're too tall to have a Glock trigger that shoots short people. So make sure you go out, get yourself Johnny Glock trigger. Get yourself a Mad Dog trigger, whatever kind of trigger you want to get. He's the man. He's local in town. Make an appointment. Go there. Bring your Glocks. Have Johnny work his magic on it. Best guy around for all that kind of stuff. Don't believe Glock perfection. That's all a scam. It's not true. They're perfect, I guess, in every other way, except their triggers need a little bit of work. So if you need some trigger work, go get a Johnny Custom Glock. Shout out to Sean Hilton, as always, for providing us his awesome Glock blocks to go with your Johnny Custom Glock. So when you get yourself a Glock, go get a trigger on it, and then get one of those blocks from Sean. If you go to his... What? Get a block to get a Glock? Glock? Yeah, get a Glock to go with your block. Get a block to go with your Glock, or vice versa, however you want to do it. So, Smoke Show 3D is Sean Hilton, those guys over there. Remember, if you go on there and put in our code, you get 10% off FSP10 for 10% off. Make sure you get yourself one of those things. We usually give those out. I don't know if we're going to give one out this week because, again, everything's kind of last minute. Our other guy's not here. Maybe we'll spin the wheel. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But if not, all your comments and stuff will go in this week. So shout out to Johnny Custom Glock and Smoke Show 3D, Sean Hilton, for providing us those things. As always, like and share and subscribe. The Facebook show, you get entered into the competitions or the drawings or the wheels, whatever the hell you want to call it, for the giveaways at the end of the show. Also, if you could please, as always, go to Musings with MGL on YouTube. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a comment, anything in there to help the algorithm is really good. I don't think I'm at 1,000 subscribers yet. I haven't looked at it lately, but as always, 981. Holy crap! I need 9 more
Woo! You
freaking
picked
people.
up 3 this week.
No, 19 more people. I suck at math. That's why I went to law school. So I need 19 more people to go follow me. So 981 subscribers. So please tell all your friends, go there, subscribe. As I was telling the guys before we got started, I got a whole new setup here. I had the production company come out here, check out my studio. I got a new camera, got some new lights, got everything good to go. So we're going to step up our content here, come up in the near future, and a bunch of new stuff going on. There's articles every day, all kinds of weird stuff going on. The election's coming up, so we're going to be hitting hot and heavy with all of our stuff here in the future. So please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends about it on Musings with MGL. Now, I didn't do this because I forgot that Julia wasn't going to be here as well. So we have to do a toast, but I didn't get one. And I just typed toast into the interwebs, and I can tell you how to put them in the toaster. I can tell you Toasted Mango Cafe is in Sarasota. Toast is a takeout restaurant pickup app. Maybe if I put in drinking toast. Drinking toast. Now it's going to say you can't drink toast. You're supposed to eat it. 30 great drink toast. Hey, we're going to do an experiment. I'm just going to pick the first one.
There you go.
Here you go. 30 great drink toasts. I'm just going to randomly pick the first one. Everybody get their drink for the random drink toast. Life is a waste of time. Time is a waste of life. So why not get wasted all the time and have the time of your life? Interesting.
Here, here.
Here. Yay. Is that from Dirty Dancing? Time of Our Life? I don't know.
Could be.
The second one is funnier. Here's to women, beer, and song. May none of them be flat. Ooh, that's rough though.
I like the one from Jaws. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
All right. So, yeah, 989 subscribers. All right. So, let's just get right into it. It's a funny topic. I got some things to say about it. Mike, you got some things to say about it?
Yeah, I got some surprising
All right.
things to say about it.
Me too. You know what? You and I may actually end up being on the same page here when we get right into it. It's gonna be funny. Let's see how this thing shakes out. We're going in cold. All right. So here's what we're going to talk about tonight. And some of you may know this and some of you may not know this. But recently, just a couple of days ago, a federal judge ruled that essentially an illegal immigrant, an undocumented immigrant, migrants, whatever the hell the Biden administration wants to call them, because we all know you can't call them illegal immigrants because that's insulting. But a judge ruled that undocumented immigrants, essentially the Second Amendment also applies to illegal aliens, undocumented immigrants, whatever the hell you want to call them. So I'll just read real quick from the article here in case everybody can't see it. And it'll kind of run down through the history. So a judge this month dropped gun charges against an illegal migrant in Illinois, sparking further debate about the rights associated with the Second Amendment. U.S. District Court Judge Sharon Coleman of the Northern District of Illinois referenced lower court rulings in dismissing firearm possession charges against Heriberto Carbaja Flores, who was allegedly or unlawfully in the United States when he possessed a handgun in the Little Village neighborhood of Chicago on June 1st, 2020. The court finds that Carvajal Flores' criminal record containing no improper use of a weapon, as well as the non-violent circumstances of his arrest, do not support a finding that he poses a risk to public safety such that he cannot be trusted to use a weapon responsibly and should be deprived of his Second Amendment right to bear arms in self-defense. Coleman, who was appointed under President Barack Obama, wrote in her 8-page ruling filed March 8th. He was charged under Title 18 U.S. Criminal Code, which illegally disallows undocumented individuals to possess firearms and ammunition or to receive any firearm or ammunition which has been shipped or transported in interstate or foreign commerce. So, the defendant who contended the firearm was possessed in self-defense, for self-defense and protection of property during a time of documented civil unrest in the spring of 2020, which has never been convicted of a felony, a violent crime, or a crime involving a weapon. There was a myriad of protests across the nation that spring. He has consistently adhered to and fulfilled the stipulated conditions of his release. The ruling says, adding that he is gainfully employed and has no new arrests or outstanding warrants. The court previously denied 2 motions by Carvajal to dismiss the charges. Ruling was brought to. We hold that the Second Amendment's plain text covers an individual's conduct. The Constitution presumptively protects that conduct. So then they reference what the Supreme Court ruling is. So I'll break it down real quick in layman's terms. This guy's an illegal immigrant, undocumented alien, whatever you want to call him. He's here. He gets caught possessing a firearm. They charge him under the federal statute that says undocumented immigrants, whatever you want to call them, aren't permitted to possess a firearm. So he filed a motion to dismiss his criminal charge, basically citing all the stuff that we've been citing in the last couple of years since the Bruin decision came out that says unless there's a historical basis for the law shouldn't stand. And so he didn't file a motion to throw out the law. He didn't file a motion to make some ruling across the nation. He simply filed a motion to throw out his specific charge by saying he's allowed to have a firearm because there's no historical prohibition on non-citizens, for lack of a better term, having a firearm. And the judge agreed and said that's right. There is no historical basis for denying that. And the right to possess a firearm is an individual right. It doesn't. The Second Amendment doesn't say citizens only or non-citizens only. It says basically a person can keep and bear arms, and the court has ruled that that's an individual right. Therefore, he doesn't have anything that's historically prevented them from having firearms, and so they threw his case out. Just from a legal standpoint, we won't get in the facts of it or whatever, but I want to talk just generally just to put people on notice. Everybody on the internet is freaking out because now they're saying that, oh, the law in America is that illegal undocumented immigrants can come here and walk around with all the guns. That's not the ruling here. It's one judge ruling on one person's case and throwing out his charges. That ruling applies to nobody except that guy. Period. It was his case, his charges. They got dismissed. It's not an appellate ruling from an appellate court. It's not from the Supreme Court. It's not a class of people like in a class action lawsuit, like with bump stocks or anything like that. It is one man with a criminal charge asking his particular charge to be thrown out. I do that every day on my cases, and it's not a broad ruling. So all the pandemonium about well, now illegal immigrants and an American can walk around with guns, that ain't true. All that means is this guy can't go to jail for what he did. Tomorrow, another guy could be arrested in the district for the same charge, and they'll just file his charges, and he may go in front of a different federal judge who could have a completely different opinion and say, I'm not throwing that guy's charges out. So it's not a binding ruling on anybody on the planet except that individual. Actually, it's on that state attorney's office or the attorney general's office, since it's a federal case, barring them basically from proceeding. They could appeal that as well, and they could go up and try and get a DCA, a federal DCA, to overturn that judge and say, no, you're wrong, you can prosecute that guy. So everybody out there who's having a shit fit about this should just calm the F down, because it ain't that big a deal. It's one judge making one ruling. So that's the legal standpoint on it. Now, as far as the philosophical concept of it and the analysis of the ruling and stuff like that, I will turn it over to you and see what you have to think about it, and then I'll tell you what I think about it, and we'll see where we're at.
First of all, the whole news coverage of it is a psyop. It totally
Right.
is a psyop, trying to get us to fight amongst ourselves, because half the 2A community is against this ruling and the other half says, well, yeah. And I'm glad the judge actually looked at Bruin. I'm glad they went back to Bruin and go back to the original text and tradition and all that. I really am. I don't know how he ruled it that way, though, because, I mean, the Constitution, the beginning of the Constitution says, we the people of the United States, in order to perform a more perfect union, the thing. So we the people, okay? So then you go to the Second Amendment, and it says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people, meaning we the people of the United States have the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, which also, you go to the Declaration of Independence that says, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. But that's us. That's the people. So I don't know why the judge didn't go to that, being in an anti-gun place of Illinois. But I totally get why, they let it down, because there is no history, text, or tradition barring illegal immigrants from having guns. And you know what? I'm cool with that. I'm a constitutionalist. I like what the thing says. And if they don't want illegal aliens to have them, Congress should meet and they should make a law about it, like they did with the whole background check law and the other laws. If Congress votes on it, you can't let the ATF do it. You got to have Congress do it, and we vote our people in. And if they vote the way we want them to, then we let them stay in. If they don't, then we elect them out, get somebody else in there. But, I mean, it's a whole psyop thing. I mean, the internet is just going crazy about this one decision, like you said. And the media is just sitting back going, look, they're going to start eating themselves in a minute. And you can't let them do that. You can't let them do that. So that's where I am on it. Is I don't know if that's where you are.
Yeah, the you're right, because that's clearly what's happening. Is half the people are supporting the ruling and being like, yeah, why do you want laws to restrict people to have firearms? I thought the entire purpose of the 2A community was less government restriction on firearms, and that we should all be able to carry firearms and not have the government tell us what we can and can't have. And then you have the other half that are just so angry with illegal immigrants right now because of what's going on with the election and the political season, that anything that happens to illegal immigrants, they're against. And well, they take my guns away, but they can let that. They're giving that guy guns. Nobody's giving him a gun. He was carrying a gun just like you're carrying a gun. And if you didn't have a felony conviction, they couldn't charge you with being illegally holding the firearm and walking around. So it's not like somebody's coming to you and saying, well, you're the white guy in Sarasota with a gun, we're going to take yours, but the Spanish guy in Chicago, we're not going to take his. I mean, nobody's doing that. And then again, it goes back, that negates your own argument, because on one hand, you're bitching about the government trying to take guns, but then you don't like the ruling because they didn't take this guy's guns. Well, which is it? Do you want the government to take guns, or do you not want the government to take guns? So
Right.
I come down on your side from the political concept of it, because to me, any time a gun charge can get dropped against anybody, or a law that says somebody can't have a firearm is struck down, I'm for that. I don't give a shit who it applies to. Like, I'm not for government regulations of firearms. And so from a philosophical standpoint, I'm okay with the ruling. Also, from a legal standpoint, from a constitutional standpoint, like you say, it's we the people, it's the people. The other thing is, a lot of people on the internet keep saying, "Oh, the Constitution only applies to citizens." That's never been the case. It's never been the case that the Constitution only applies to American citizens. It doesn't say that in the Constitution. The 14th Amendment was passed, which specifically says due process applies to everybody. It's been interpreted 1,000 times by the Supreme Court and other courts that say the Constitution applies to everybody. Because if that's the case, that the Constitution only applies to citizens, then anybody who flew over here for a vacation can have their hotel room searched without anybody needing a warrant. They can have their car searched. They can have their purse searched. They can be arrested and forced to confess without getting the opportunity to have a lawyer. They could be arrested for praying in the street, whatever their religion is, because if the Constitution only applies to citizens, then every tourist has no constitutional rights. They can walk down the street and be arrested off the street for any reason they want to. They don't have a Fourth Amendment right. They don't have a Fifth Amendment right. They don't have a freedom of speech. They don't have freedom of religion. They got nothing. So why would you ever say, or why would you ever want it to be, that the Constitution only applies to citizens? That's ridiculous. Even when it comes to firearms, because correct me if I'm wrong, as somebody who formerly owned a gun shop, if you have a resident alien green card, you could still buy a gun, right? Can't you pass a background check or whatever? Isn't there's a category of non-citizens who are also allowed to have carry permits and buy firearms?
I believe it was just long guns, rifles, and they had to have a hunting license. But
Right.
yeah, they couldn't buy a handgun, and neither can
Sure.
that dude. That dude that got popped, he can't buy one if
Right.
he's not an American citizen. The one thing, people are thinking this guy got off scot-free. There's no way he got away out of the FOID card. Obviously, if he's in Illinois, he didn't have a FOID card, so they're going to nail him on that. It's just this one
Right. Your
charge.
state charges.
That's what the news
Right.
isn't telling us. They're not telling it. They think, oh, he's free. No, he's not going to be free because he still had possession of a firearm without a federal, firearms owner's
No.
ID
Firearms
card, and you have
owner's
to have one of
ID
those
card,
in
right.
Illinois. So I mean,
Well, right, and there's
he's
other
not
state laws
scot
that he's
free.
breaking. He doesn't have the card. He was carrying somewhere he wasn't allowed to be carrying. Right. This is just the federal
Right.
charges. I
It's
don't know
just
why
an
they hit him with
extra
federal
charge.
charges to begin with. They should have just let the Chicago DA do it. But it wouldn't surprise me though if, quite frankly, for political reasons, the Chicago DA didn't want to prosecute him for it, because it's a sanctuary city, and so they
Yep.
probably it's possible that they didn't decide to charge him with it, so the feds didn't have a choice but to hit him with that charge. And I don't know all the rest of it because I don't know if that's the only charge he had pending against him. It's possible he had 7 other charges, and this was the only one that got thrown out. Because again, they're not going to report all that in the media. And
Right.
what and where's the situation now? Is he in deportation status? Have they started proceedings to kick him out? So they won't tell you anything other than judge allowed it. And I also got to think that I understand what you're saying about a psyop because the Second Amendment community is split down the middle. But I got to think I'm not on their forums, but I got to think that the Democratic community has got to be split, and the liberal community has got to be fighting over this too because I'm sure there's half of them that think, great, illegal immigrants should be American. They should all have immunity, and they should all be here. They should have the same rights as we do. But then, of course, there's got to be a bunch of them that are saying, well, we don't want them to have guns any more than we want redneck skinny up in Tennessee to have firearms. So, and of course, it was an Obama appointed judge. So I'm sure they're also, but Chicago's a huge violent city with guns everywhere, and now they're throwing out gun charges. So I'm not sure. I don't necessarily think it's a psyop just against the 2A community. I think it's just a weird case that the media, for clicks and everything else, I mean, the media is a psyop against everybody. They'll split up Democrats, they'll split up Republicans. They just want everybody fighting with each other because that's how they get their clicks and that's how they stay in power. But I gotta believe that the other side of the aisle is just as split down the middle as we are because it goes against both their core beliefs. Don't
Yeah.
pick on the immigrant, but we don't want anybody to have guns. Well, which is it?
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, the media is not happy unless we're all fighting amongst ourselves, and that's what they want. Because when we're dealing with this, we're not watching the real things that are going on. We're not paying attention to it. So they can slick stuff right underneath our nose, right in front of our face, because we're not paying attention to it because we're fighting about an illegal alien that had a gun or
Right.
undocumented worker or whatever you want to call them.
Undocumented
You know?
immigrant, illegal alien, Lincoln
Mhm.
Riley, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So it reads right into their playbook of getting us all to fight against each other and chaos and all, and it's just you just got to take it with a grain of salt. Every day
well,
deal with it.
yeah.
Carry your gun, so if an undocumented person pulls one on you, you can pull yours on them and take care of things. I mean, that's the way it's got to be. That's the way it's got to be. You know. I mean, it's just like these things that get us fighting amongst ourselves in the 2A community. I mean, open carry is a huge one. I mean,
Yeah. Me and my
I'm a
co-host fight about that all the time.
constitutionalist, dude. I'm a constitutionalist, and I believe that people should be allowed to open carry. Would I do it? No, but I would fight tooth and nail for the right to be able to do it because I don't see a problem with the right of doing it. I do see a problem
Right.
with doing it, but that's my own problem. I mean, that's my opinion. I've seen people
Right.
do it up here. It's legal up here, and it's really weird, man. It's really weird. They also wear those concealed carry badges up here. And it's like, why, dude? Why do you want
That's
to
weird.
advertise if you're carrying a gun? I just don't understand. I want to be the fat guy in the back of the restaurant with his back to the door, his my back to the back door, nobody getting behind me, and I can see everything that's going on. And the fat guy eating his French fries in the back. Well, I don't eat French fries anymore, but eating my meal in the back. There ain't no way he's a problem. Let's go on to the next guy, and then all of a sudden, let's rob the place. Oh shit, the fat guy's packing. Yeah, he is,
Right.
but you're not going to know it. I'm carrying a royal flush, man, and I ain't going to show it to you till all the chips are on the table.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I feel about that. But there's so many people fighting in the community, and so many people that are going on, you know, social media, especially that guy down in what is it, Fort Myers or Northport or wherever he is, the fisherman guy. I mean, he goes out
Right.
of his way and he makes us all look like idiots. He makes all gun owners look like idiots, and I'm just like, I don't think you need to throw that in their face. It is what it is, and I agree. I would fight tooth and nail for the right for anybody to be able to do it. I just choose not to. And it's just another fight within the 2A community that we all have, and it sucks. We just got to realize, hey, we're all on the same team here, you know, because the government wants us to fight amongst ourselves, and you just can't do it. Life's too short.
Yeah,
You got too many other things to do.
I yeah, I mean, McGowan and I fight about that all the time because like you, I would never carry. He would never open carry. I would never open carry. It's not for me. It's not something I would ever do because I have the same philosophy you do. Why do you want to draw attention to yourself? The badges are just people who used to want to be cops and they just couldn't pass the
Yeah.
exam or whatever. So now they walk around with their badges. They were the patrol guy with the orange thing when they were in
Yeah.
elementary school, telling you
Safety
to move
patrol.
along. Um, but you should be allowed to do it, whether you want to be stupid and do it or not stupid and do it. I mean, right? It says shall not be infringed, period, and it says to keep and bear arms, and that it doesn't say openly or concealedly. It just says to bear them, which means carry them around however the hell you want. So it should 100% be legal to open carry your firearm if you want to. You shouldn't, and other people will disagree because they'll have tactical reasons why you should. And I don't have a problem with the Second Amendment community arguing over whether you should or not, because that's no different than should you have a 9mm or a 1911 or whatever. Like those are in-house normal fights that you'll have among the gun community. But right, the people who claim to be super pro 2A, but then don't want open carry laws because they think open carry is stupid. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me because then that means you're not 2A. Because what if somebody says concealed carry is stupid, so we shouldn't have concealed carry, or carrying in your house is stupid because you could have children, so let's pass a law about that. Everybody can say doing something is stupid and then make it illegal, and then that's how you end up with being Canada or whatever you can be guns.
Yeah, but can't we just have some common sense?
Common sense gun laws. That's all we need.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, they're kicking up here the whole safe storage stuff, and the
Yep.
Democrats here, which we have a super majority in the House and the Senate here in Tennessee. So I mean, it's never gonna, you know,
No.
I don't think any knee slapping stuff will happen like happened in Florida after Sandy, or not Sandy Hook, but Marjorie Stoneman. You know, the
Yeah.
school down
Marjorie
there.
Stoneman Douglas.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, we had that one up here, and no knee slap. I mean, of course, the Democrats came up with a million things that they wanted done, and but our governor is Republican, and the House and the Senate are both Republican, so
Yeah.
they
So are
they get kind
ours.
of squashed. Yeah, but they did some knee slapping stuff. That was Rick Scott
They did. There's
signing
no
that
question
bill.
about it.
Yeah, before he left, and
Yep. No
luckily ours
question about
didn't
it.
do that. But they're still kicking around the safe storage stuff, and I'm like, bitch, my door is locked. Why do I have to have a
Hmm.
safe in my house? I mean, if I had a kid, yeah, you better believe it. I would lock up my guns. You know, I would teach my kid to not touch them and this, that, and other thing. You trust your kid, you just don't trust your kid's friends. You know, so yeah, I would have something to lock them up or be able to safely storage them. But I don't have kids. And if my front door is locked, you're breaking the law coming in here. Why do I have to have my gun in a safe? I don't
Right.
understand that, you know, and they're saying that's common sense. No, it's not. You know, are my guns in the safe? Yeah, I got two of them. I got two big safes because I own a gun shop, but not everybody can afford $3,500 for a big ass safe, you know, and it is what it is. But to mandate, that's opening it up, saying, hey, I'm going to come check and make sure you have a safe. And I'm going to be able to come in your house and see it. That's not the way it should be. So I don't understand, and I don't agree with these safe storage practices at all. You know, I'll
Yeah.
store it safely because I'm a responsible gun owner. You don't have to mandate me a law to do it. You know, I don't have any
Yeah.
on the wall. I don't have it anywhere. I have my everyday carry that's on me when I'm in my house, everywhere where I'm at. Because I had funny story. I had a guy come in the shop once, and he goes, "I need 9 guns,
Yeah. You told me
and I
about that.
want them
Yeah.
all the
Gun for
same."
each room.
Did I tell you about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, you need 9 high points because they're the cheapest. And I said, don't you think a holster would be cheaper? I put my gun on in the morning when I wake up, and when I go to bed, I take it off. So I have it with me in every room. I don't need a gun in every room and all that stuff. And when I go to bed, it's on the nightstand next to me, so I can grab it quick and go out. So it's safely stored because my doors are locked. That's the way I look at it, you know.
Yeah. That's the new thing. That's making around in a lot of different places, but a couple others.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like the memo went out to all Democratic minority groups in all the houses or whatever across the country to start pushing these storage bills. They did have one here. They introduced it. It never made it out of committee. It did. I think one of them did pass in like Oregon or something. Of course, it was like a weird place. But yeah, the whole new storage thing, because the talking points is, well, vehicle thefts are up, and so we need to pass storage laws. Well, no. How about you crack down on vehicle thefts? How about you get more cops, or how about you get more prosecutors, or how about you get the prosecutors to prosecute people who you catch and not just give them no bail and release them, or lower the recidivism amounts or whatever. Right. So instead of, they look at a problem, vehicle thefts are up, and the solution isn't let's figure out how to get vehicle thefts down. It's let's make people lock their firearms up in a specific way in their car, so when the criminals who we're not going to prosecute and just let back out on the street steal their gun again, they make it harder for them to steal. Like that's how certain politicians think when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that is the new thing that's hitting all the different again, it's like a memo went out to every single Democratic legislator out there. Let's try and focus on this. We can't get anything else, but let's just start some storage laws. And now that's like popping up in every session.
Yeah, I mean it's really crazy. I mean, I don't ever leave a firearm in a vehicle. Um, it's just not practical. I've had some customers in the past that unfortunately either they were working or they went a place where they couldn't take it in and they had to leave it in their vehicle. I understand that, but I mean, isn't that, don't we have like 20,000 gun laws on the books? Let's create more laws. Why don't we just enforce the ones that we have and not
Right.
create new ones? You know, and just like what you said, let's enforce laws and stop giving, no bail, or what is that, supervised release, and all this kind of stuff, and weekend jail where you can go commit a crime and then do your time on the weekends. I there's no penalty for doing anything wrong anymore except killing somebody or
Yeah.
kitty porn, which is great. Have those people locked up for sure. Don't put them on weekend jail. But I mean, it was killing my brother. He was a bail bondsman, and he saw his stats go down, especially in Manatee County, because it's like your own reconnaissance, or what is it, supervised
Yeah.
release or
Supervised
whatever. They
release.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure it's good for your clients and stuff like that. I get it, but man, I mean,
Well, it
there's
saves,
that old
they don't
adage
have to post the
saying,
money for the
"Hey, I won't
bondsman, so
commit
they
this
have it for their
crime."
lawyer.
If I don't feel like going to jail, I don't want to have to pay bail, I don't want to have to do this. Maybe I won't commit this crime, but now I'll be out in 15 minutes. Who cares? Look at New York. Look at all the people ransacking all the
Well,
stores and everything in
yeah, I
California,
mean,
and they know they're
you have
going
to
to get
look at where
off,
they're
so they
at.
don't care. They
Right.
don't
Yeah, you have to
care.
look at where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like
Mm-hmm.
we don't have that problem here. I mean, I know you're
No.
right. When they came up with supervised release about 12 or 13 years ago, a lot of the bondsmen didn't like it because, yeah, that's how they made their business, was by people uh, posting bonds. But it hasn't made, like, ever since they started it, there hasn't been like a huge increase in recidivism or whatever, because they did it the right way. So they came up with they set criteria. The problem is a place like New York just came up with a law that said nobody has to post bail. Everybody gets released on their own reconnaissance. So nobody has to post any bail unless it's like these four crimes or whatever. Yeah, murder or whatever, whatever. Other than that, they just basically threw out bail as a concept. They don't have that, and you got to do it the way we do it here in Florida, where we still have bail. Every case is allowed to either have a monetary bond, no bond, depending on the charge, like at all. Meaning, and it's always backwards, because when we say no bond in Florida, that means you don't get a bond and you're stuck in jail. When you hear other places say no bond, what they mean is you don't have to post any money and they just let you out. So if you
Right.
hear me say no bond, I'm talking about the Florida version of no bond, which means you don't get out, not no bond, which means you don't have to post any money. That's called released on your own recognizance, which is ROR. So here there are certain charges that you can get no bond on, which means you don't get out of jail. You sit there until your trial. And then there's charges that you're entitled to anything from ROR up to whatever the monetary bond is that the court thinks is reasonable. So you could be released on an ROR. I mean, if you have no prior criminal history, you're a middle-aged man with a wife and kids and get a DUI and you blow an 089. Like why should you have to give $5,000 to somebody just to get out of jail because you have strong ties to the community, you're not going to run, you're not going to flee, and you're not a risk to the community because you have no prior record and it was a non-violent, barely over the limit DUI or a 19-year-old who gets a first time ever shoplifting from Walmart of like $20, they shouldn't have to pay $5,000 to get out of jail and await their day in court. So they came up with supervised release for those people to where they don't just let you out in ROR and cross their fingers that you're going to be a good boy or girl, but they don't make you pay thousands of dollars to get out either. They put you on supervised release, which means we're going to let you out without any money, but you're going to be on basically probation while your case is pending. You have to check in every month. They randomly call you. Sometimes they can give you urinalysis or no alcohols. They can put bracelets on your ankle. They can do all those kind of things. So it's an alternative. And if you don't do supervised release, then they make you pay a bond. So it's an alternative. Most of them would give you both. They'd say $5,000 bond or supervised release. So if the person wants to pay the bond, they can get out without having to do all the crap on supervised release. Or if they don't have the money, they can get out but still be monitored, so it keeps the community safe, and they make sure they know about their court dates, and they make sure they come to court. That's the way to do it. So you keep the really bad guys in on no bonds or high bonds. You let the really not bad guys out, and you give it an opportunity to prove themselves by being on some sort of supervision. So that way when the trial comes around, maybe they could do probation because they've already proven that they can be supervised for several months. So that's the way to do it. What these crazy left-wing cities are doing is they're just getting rid of bail as a concept. It's basically, you get arrested, you don't have to post any money. Here's your court date. Have a nice day. There's no supervised release. There's nobody to monitor you. There's nobody to make sure you know about your court date. They just kick you out and off you go. And that's obviously a recipe for disaster. And we've seen it played out all across the country.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, especially if you are a undocumented worker or whatever we're calling them.
Right, yeah.
You just go to another state. I mean, you might have given them the wrong name for all they know. They have no clue.
That's right. That's what happens.
Yeah. And then they
Those
come
guys
out
that beat
and the
up
news
that
gets them,
cop.
and they're throwing the bird with them dudes getting out. They're throwing the bird at the news and all that. And you're like, yeah, welcome to America, buddy. You love it so much.
And then they get right on the van and then they drive to California. See?
Yeah.
But see, Mike, now people are going to go, and that guy can have a gun and not get any sort of trouble. But me, I can't have a gun. That's what you're saying, right?
Yep.
That guy can come out of the courtroom, give middle finger, and then just go get a gun, and nothing's going to happen to him. Especially in New York, right? Anybody can walk around New York with a gun.
Everybody does.
Right. Yeah.
All the criminals do. I mean, my cousin just got her permit. She's been living up in there for it's Jody's cousin, and she's been living in New York. Gosh, probably close to 20 years. And I think it took her like 5 years to get her carry permit, but she finally got it. She had to go to the sheriff and get approved and all this and that. And it's like, man, that's crazy, But she finally got one. And I have another cousin that actually moved from New York to here mainly for our gun laws. That's hilarious, So he kept calling me, wanting me to send him like, hey, man, I want to buy a P90. Send me an FNPS 90. I'm like, no, it's illegal. I'm not sending you that. Or, hey, man, I need some 15-round Glock mags. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Move out of your state, and I'll sell you as many as you want.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not doing it, man. You ain't going to layer Vickers me, man. I ain't going to jail.
No. None of it's worth it.
No way.
Well, and that's, it's the thing where I'm gonna do a video here at some point on that. They're starting to deploy these gun sniffing dogs now, so they're taking dogs and they're training them how to smell ammunition and gunpowder and firearms and stuff, and they're starting to send those to a bunch of different places so they don't have to use the metal detectors. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because the phrase that I hate the most that I see on Facebook is somebody goes on and says, "Hey, can I carry at the fair, or can I carry at the Bucks game, or whatever?" And what is the phrase that always comes after somebody posts something like that? Concealed means concealed, which is basically saying, fuck the law, carry
Right.
anyway, because who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Okay, you can have that philosophy if you want. I'm not going to jail to be a martyr. I'm not paying $5,000 for a bondsman, $10,000 for a lawyer. My kid's going to be, an orphan because now she's only got one parent. I'm in jail. Grandma's going to come down, lose my bar license, all the other shit that comes along with that, because I say concealed means concealed. So every time somebody says that, I always send them a picture of my card and I say, call me when you're done because you're going to need a lawyer. Because if you want to be the martyr, hey, I'll bow down to you. Go there. If you're that proud of it, why are you hiding it then? If your point
Yeah.
is F the government, I should be able to carry if I want to, then why are you hiding it concealed? Just walk right in there with a gun on your hip, see what happens, stand up in your trial, make your speech, do your appeal, take it to the Supreme Court, get the gun law overturned. If you're willing to do all that, I got mad props for you. But if you're going to be a keyboard lawyer and tell this guy who just wants to know if he can take his kids somewhere without going to jail, well, concealed means concealed. This is why we have so many gun laws, because people just follow whatever the rules are. Like, God, nothing pisses me off more than that.
Yeah, I know, man.
It's my
I'm right
rant.
there with you. No, I know exactly what you're saying. And, I did get a gun in Disney once, though. I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, because,
in the
you're
park or
walking
just
from the
Disney
parking lot.
Springs?
Oh, I got it into Epcot, dude. Food and
Oh
Wine
wow,
Festival. Yeah.
that's impressive.
You're walking in from the parking lot. It's like the Baton Death March. You got to park like 5 miles away from where the tram
Sure.
picks you up. So I made it all the way there, and I had one of those jumbo Versa packs by Maxpedition. It had a water bottle. It's a man purse, whatever you want to call it. Heck, I got one right here, as a matter of fact.
Indiana Jones wears one. So does Joy Behar.
Yeah, it's a satchel, right? So I get all the way up, and I get on the tram, and we get all the way up to the front where the tickets are, and I see they're checking bags, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, crap. And Jody's like, what? I'm like, my freaking Glock 19 is in the secret pocket on this damn thing. And I'm like, man, I ain't going all the way back out to my damn car and walking 5 miles from the tram and then have to wait in the heat for the tram again, and get all the way back up here again. I'm going to see. Let's see what happens. And I'm not telling anybody to do this, okay? But
No,
I'm looking and
never.
I'm watching the people opening bags and this and that, and I see this old guy, and he's got chopsticks, and I'm like, that's my boy right there. So I walk up there, and the Versa pack has a zipper on the front, and then it also has a flap. But when you lift the flap up, the zipper is concealed because the flap's over it. So I walked
Right.
up and I opened the flap and I set it
The
down. I went,
flap.
Food and Wine Festival, man, I can't wait. And he goes, yeah, and he's like fishing around in my pack with his little
The front
chopsticks.
part, yeah.
And I got two-way radios in there. I got a GPS in there. I got a med kit in there, a tourniquet, food bar, something, whatever, like an energy bar or whatever you'd have in like a get home bag or something. Not a bug out
Right.
bag, but I'm getting
Nothing
home
you
with
would
the
take
stuff.
to Epcot normally for a
Yeah,
food and wine festival.
exactly. But I had it open and he didn't see that. And he's like, okay, man, you have a good day. I go, you too, buddy. And I click, went right in. And I'm
Yeah.
like, if I
Nice.
could get in there, a terrorist could get in there. So I'm
Sure.
like, hey, I won't pull it out unless I have to. And if I have to, it's going to be saving my life or my wife's life. I'll
Well,
go to
yeah.
jail for that,
Well, that's always the
whatever,
rule.
But I mean, how Disney gets away with it is that damn pyrotechnics law. But I think if
Yeah,
somebody
they
took
got
a broom,
fireworks there.
huh?
Well, they can get it. It's private property. They can get away with it. They don't have to allow people to come on there.
Yeah, but they
The
get away with
fireworks
it
doesn't.
being.
That's how they get away with the employee law. That's how they get away with telling employees that they can't have
Well, that's how they get
firearms
away with concealed
in their
weapons law
cars in the
too, right?
parking lot. The
Yeah, I
what?
mean they get away with the concealed weapons permit law that way
No, they're
too, right?
private property. They can tell you not to bring a firearm in there. That has nothing to do. There's no statute about that. It's just private property.
Yeah, but they would have to put up the signs and all the legal mumbo jumbo, right?
Well,
I don't know if Florida has that. See, up here,
no,
if you go to
no, we don't have a sign.
Dick's,
Like they put up signs that say no firearms. They have no legal authority down here. But as a private entity, they can have whatever rules they want. They can say you can't wear red shirts to Disney, or you can't wear Universal Studios clothes to Disney. The only thing they can't say is you can't come in here if you're a protected class. Like they can't say we're not going to serve black people or gay people or whatever because that's a protected class. But as far as firearms go, they can tell you just not to bring them because it's private property. But they try and get around the new law that says a company can't tell you can't have a gun in your car in the company parking lot. They take the position that because they have fireworks and pyrotechnic on property, they can tell you that you can't have a gun in your car pursuant to the new law. I don't know if they still enforce that or don't enforce that or whatever, but no, they could them theme parks, all those places can just outlaw or not outlaw, but they just prohibit bringing guns on the property, just like prohibiting alcohol or whatever else. It's just a list of things that they're not
yeah,
that's
it's
not
like
allowed
the
to
Bucks
bring.
game. It's like going to a Bucks game or a Rays game or Lightning game.
Well,
You
no, the
can't bring a
Bucks games
firearm.
now are actually included because that was part of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act, where they added in professional sporting events as a list of prohibited places for you to carry firearms. So that's not a Raymond James policy. That's actually a Florida state statute, which now does not allow you to carry firearms at professional sporting events.
Mm, mm.
Yep.
Yeah, see up here we have there's a sign and it has to be a certain size and it has to have the
Right.
state statute number on it and all that stuff. And if it's just a sticker that says no guns, it don't mean nothing. But if it's the actual
Sure.
sign, right size, like if you go to Gatlinburg and you go to Dick's Last Resort, that restaurant there where they treat you bad and
Right.
stuff on purpose, um, they're a no gun place, and I'm probably they probably tick off enough people. They don't want people there with guns because of the way they treat you.
Right, because the way
But
they cuss you at the, the
yeah,
table, yeah,
you
makes
know,
sense.
I still haven't been in there because they got a no gun sign, so I don't choose to give them my
Sure, yeah.
business. But
But yeah, you
I
guys
guess they
have
treat
a
you there.
statutory signage thing. Yeah, there's a bunch of states that have those. There are some states where the
Yeah,
signs have legal authority, and there's some states where they don't. We don't have legal authority signs. People can slap those signs up everywhere they want. Again, if you subscribe to Musings with MGL, I did an entire YouTube video on signages in Florida, whether they mean or not. So people should subscribe to that and go find that video. But
yeah,
essentially, yeah, in Florida, signs don't mean anything here. It's no different than no shoes, no shirt, no service. You can't go to jail if you walk into 7-Eleven without your shirt on, but 7-Eleven will tell you don't come in here because you're not wearing your shirt. And then if you say, F you, I'm not leaving, well, now you can go to jail because now you're committing a trespass because you've been told to leave and you're refusing to leave. And so you'll go to jail. And then if they come arrest you for trespass and you have a firearm, they could upcharge you to trespassing with a firearm, which goes from a misdemeanor to a felony. But it's not
yep,
because you're carrying a firearm. If you're just in there and a cop sees you and the guy says, "Hey, that guy's got a firearm," the cop's going to go, "Okay, what do you want me to do about it? Kick him out. Sir, you have to leave." And if you say, "Okay, I'll leave," that's the end of it. They can't do anything to you. He can't just go, "That guy's got a gun, go arrest him," and then they go arrest you because you have a gun inside their store that has a picture of a gun with a Ghostbuster cross atop of it. Like that's not how it works in Florida. But there are some states that do. So certainly if you're watching this in any other state, that law, that rule, I know for a fact only applies to Florida. If you're in a state that has signage laws, then you need to make sure that you comply with whatever the sign is because that could result in its own separate criminal charge just for having a gun on a place that has a posted sign. It's like a handicap thing. You just can't park there.
yeah,
All right. So it's 9:04. We're going to kind of wrap it up here. We're not going to do a drawing this week. We'll do one next week, but all of your comments and stuff will count towards next week. So Sean, now you're going to have like 80 entries into the spinning wheel instead of your normal 40. So please, oh, Sean's behind. You better start linking and subscribing and commenting. So please like us on Facebook, share us on Facebook. Please go to Musings with MGL. I need 19 more signers to get to 1,000, and I think I can start getting some of that sweet Amazon ad money. I'll get like a penny for every video I make or something like that. But it would just be pretty cool to hit 1,000 subscribers. So please go on there and do that. Watch us on Thursday. Shout out to our King sponsor, Johnny Glock. Smoke Show 3D, of course, for Sean Hilton for providing us those things. Use FSP10 to get your 10% off on your block. Get your Glock and your blocks right here at Frontside Press. Anything else you want to say, Skinny?
No, that's about it, man. Just keep him busy.
Yep. Go like his page too, right? Forever Young Ranch.
Yeah, Forever Young Ranch on Facebook. That's where you can get the leather stuff. I had a couple customers this week. Hey, I did make this. This is kind of cool. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a leather cuff, and I got a silver $50 in it. So it's pretty cool. I've been wearing it all week. I actually took my wristband, my paracord wristband off that's been on for like 10 years. So just to put this thing on, but I was just screwing around with some scraps, and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. So
that's kind of neat.
Had a wallet go out, had some collars go out. So I've been keeping pretty busy.
Sweet. So yeah, Forever Young Ranch, go like his page. Eventually he's going to have his website up. You'll be able to just order stuff and he'll make you all your custom leather goods and send them all straight to your house. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get me a dog collar. I'm going to get me a holster. I'm going to get me a wallet, all kinds of stuff. So go to his page and like that page. So there you go. Interesting topics tonight. I know Mike really wanted to be here to yell about it because that ruling pissed him off. He based on my text message with him, he would have been on the other side of us, so we would have been having that two-way argument. So maybe tune in for sequel next week. Maybe he'll still be steamed about it. We'll be talking about it next week. So we're going to sign off for now. Thanks for watching. See y'all next week on Frontside Press. Peace out.
God bless.